story too. Let them
I
know.
did.
Videos
did.
are actually live on YouTube. There we go.
Ah.
Also, I have a kid, not my kid, but my niece and nephew. So I may have to step out if they're crying.
Oh no, that's fine. Ready? I had to do it. All right. Welcome, anyone who's tuning in right now. I'm putting this on my story to promote it.
All 5 people. Appreciate it.
What'd you say?
Beautiful. It's beautiful.
All 5 people.
Yeah, all 5 people.
Hey, that's a great turnout.
So today, oh wow, no, don't want to do that. I don't know how to work a phone. Nate, I'm covering.
What can you say?
What'd you say?
If you had an iPhone, it'd probably be easier.
Yeah.
That's not what we're debating today.
No, we're 100% debating that. That's on the
No, we are not.
See, you're getting mad already.
Been on the call for literally not even a minute and a half, and Kirby already has me just coming out of my eyes.
Feel it.
Okay, all right. Anyway, the purpose of this YouTube live to discuss one of my favorite things in the world, and that is sports. All things sports for all you who care about sports. This is it. This is your episode. As you guys can see, I'm a Yankees fan. For those of you who don't know me, actually, I'm sorry. My name is Chris. I also go by the Caveman. I'm one of your leaders here at BYC. And I got 2 of my friends on. We might have some more people jump on in a little bit. But for right now, it's us 3. So why don't you guys start by introducing yourselves? Maybe tell us your favorite sport or who your teams are and everything. You can see I'm a diehard Yankee fan, New York Rangers fan all the way. And yeah, wait, where's my cup? I'm a Giants fan, all New York. And I'm a Knicks fan. All New York, born and raised. That's how you do it. Why don't you go, Nate? Go ahead.
All right. Well, I'm Nate. I'm a huge Knicks fan. Sadly, big Yankee fan. Been trying to get into hockey. So since Chris has told me to, I'm rooting for the Rangers, and played and ran track and played football for the South Falcons.
Okay.
All right. My name's Kirby. Unfortunately, I'm a Mets, Jets, and Knicks fan. So basically, if there's a team that sucks in New York, I'm their fan. So basically, when we talk about the struggle, I literally lived through it for the past 25 years of my life. I currently live in Oklahoma, but don't worry, I'm still going to be a New York fan through and through. And I think that's it. I don't know what else you want me to tell me about myself.
No, that's good. That's it.
Yeah,
so we'll get started. We get right into it. I have just a couple of things on my mind regarding sports. It's my dog barking now. I got a couple of just debates to go through and some real controversial. I always say that word wrong, but some of the biggest debates and what happens here and what do you do with that? Just whatever in sports history. And if you guys can't tell in the background, we have a couple of memes from sports. This guy right here is Bryce Harper. He's a real good elite outfielder in baseball. Currently plays for the Philadelphia Phillies. Used to play for the Washington Nationals. But one day after a game, some reporter in the locker room was asking him a question, and it was just some of these reporters have some stupid post-game questions. It's kind of just you get done playing baseball. Hey, what sport did you just play? How does it make you feel? It's what are you doing? So Bryce just hit him with is that a clown question? Are you a clown or something like that? And then the internet blew up and memed him, put a whole clown nose on him and stuff like that. It was real funny. So starting off with my favorite sport, talking baseball. Played baseball since I was 5 years old. I still play to this day whenever I can. 2017 was a very special year for one organization. It was a painful year for everyone else. Do you guys think that the Houston Astros deserve the World Series championship in 2017? After the whole cheating scandal that comes out and everything that's happening over the past 2 years, what goes down with that? What do you guys think? What are your thoughts?
Do we think it should be stripped?
We can go in that conversation because that was debated. Yeah. Do you think
Mhm.
Houston should be stripped of their World Series championship?
Well, my question is, did they make the playoffs the season before? Because that kind of factors into it a little bit.
I think they did.
Do you want me to
Didn't
get
they?
that?
Let's do this right now. Let's pull it up. ESPN. Okay. Actually, you know what? Here we go. Best website in the world, baseballreference.com.
They were the year before. They were 84 and 78.
Mm.
It was 6 games above, but they did not make playoffs.
Okay. So that's okay.
Then the following year, the year they won, they were 101 and 51. So my thing is, I would say, oh no, it's tough. I wouldn't be upset if it took it away. I really wouldn't, because they cheated. Everyone knows that whole thing. Like, I would say for me, it's worse than what Pete Rose did, betting on himself to win. If you don't let him, if you got blackballed, if you don't let him like into the Hall of Fame because of that, then how do you deal with these players that literally cheated the game, that took a World Series away from another team because of that? So I wouldn't be upset if they took it away, but if they don't take it away, which they didn't, they chose not to, then how can you vote these players into the Hall? And the thing is, they took away who's the coach again? AJ Hinch. They fired
AJ Hinch.
They fired Alex Cora from Boston because he was part of it, and they also, the Mets, fired Carlos Beltran. So now you're setting a precedent. In all the players, anyone that played or anyone that coached on that team cannot be a coach ever again. That's the precedent they're setting.
Can we just talk about real quick, that Carlos Beltran didn't even manage one game.
Didn't even make it to the regular season.
That's the most Mets thing ever to happen, where they hire a manager and they fire him before he even manages a game.
The best.
It's impossible. It's impossible to top the Mets.
That was
this. We're the biggest laughing stock in all sports.
That was great.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. You bring up an interesting point on their record on how they, what were they? You said they were 6 games above. You go from 6 games above, and then the next year you just bust out 100-win season.
Yeah.
In one season. You don't go and sign, unless you're going and signing for Mike Trouts, your team is not all of a sudden busting out a 100-win season. That's not something easy to do. We're lucky if we see 2 teams do that in a season. 100 wins.
The thing though about this whole like cheating scandal, because let's be honest, we're not going to notice like the small things they do.
Yeah.
Your boy, your Yankee boy, John Boy, he breaks down films. He says you're gonna hear the bang now. That means it's gonna be a curveball.
Shout out John Boy.
John Boy did a great job with that video.
So many videos of them cheating that it's indisputable that they cheated. You can't be like, I don't really know if they did or didn't. Like, for a fact they did. And he broke it down so everyone can see it. And that was probably my favorite part of this whole scandal.
That was
like literally everything was getting released. Like every day there was something new coming out the Astros. It was great.
It was hilarious. Baseball, when that whole conversation happened, some analysts went on and made interesting points where it's like, I agree. I don't think they should be stripped of their title. And only because now, if you strip them of their title, the conversation came about, does the World Series trophy just remain blank? Do we just give it to the Dodgers? It's like Dodgers didn't actually do anything. It's like,
you can give it to anyone.
They're like, yeah. So like, how do we decipher that? And then they said this also has came out 2 years in the making. They're like, if we're gonna go back on 2 years and stuff, they're like, listen, what's done is done. They're like, so I don't think they should be stripped. I definitely think Rob Manfred, who is the commissioner for Major League Baseball, should get a reality check and grant no one immunity. AJ Hinch and the other manager, I don't remember his name, and they should be suspended for a lot more than a year. I mean, honest to God, I don't know any other major league club that's going to pick them up after this whole scandal. Even Alex Cora. Beltran might stand a chance because he was like the least like active. Like he got like charged pretty much with like accessory kind of thing, like wrong place, wrong. I feel like
he was there. He was there. That's the only
Yeah.
reason why.
that's what I feel like. But I mean, like someone like I mean, dude, you had players like Ryan Braun, Melky Cabrera mid-season when they were on playoff teams, when they got tested positive for drugs, immediate 88 game suspension.
Yeah.
Immediate. And these dudes, supposedly Altuve is wearing a wire on his chest. You got guys freaking playing drums like they're in the streets of Barcelona or something, dancing during the World Cup. Okay. And like, so I mean, there's that whole dispute. I don't think anyone from the Astros involved should have been granted immunity. I think all of them should be serving suspensions. I think your Astros organization should be tanking right now. And I'm not just saying this because I'm a Yankee fan. I'm saying this as like an all-around sports fan for like any sport, as a lover of just sports in general and respect for the games that are played.
Okay, my thing is, and I'm agreeing with you. But let's just say the Yankees come out and do this next year, because there have been reports saying like other teams have been cheating, but like they haven't been caught. So let's just the Yankees come out and do this next year, right? What's their punishment going to be? Their management's going to get fired.
Yeah.
Okay. But what are the players going to get? The players literally got nothing.
Yeah.
Altuve got nothing. Like none of these players are getting punished at all.
Mm-hmm.
So what's going to stop people from cheating? What's going to stop? Like, what's the penalty? You don't get suspended. You don't get your salary taken away. Like, literally nothing.
Yeah,
so
for real.
If you have different morals than someone else, if all you care is about winning a championship and you don't care how you do it, which a lot of people don't care because you play to win the game, who cares how you then what's going to stop people from cheating? Nothing.
All they get is public scrutiny from the whole situation. That's it.
That's it. And the one thing that I hate about this, like, baseball being postponed and like maybe not even have a season, is that the Astros aren't going to get as much hate as they would have gotten.
Oh my gosh!
Like Yankee fans,
dude,
are going to come to Citi Field where the Mets play, and they were going to come together. We were going to come together as New Yorkers and hate against the Astros because the Astros are going to play the Mets first, not the Yankees.
If there's one thing I will say about New York sports, listen, New York, we hate each other in New York. Let me tell you something right now.
Yeah.
The Rangers and the Islanders, I don't like you. Okay? Mets fans, Kirby, I love you as a person because you're one of my best friends. Yeah. I don't like you. Okay? I'm a Giants fan. Guess what? Jets. Get out. That's my stadium. Okay? All right? That's Tiki Barbers. That is Brandon Jacobs. Okay? What do you mean? Give me your running backs.
Dude, you just entered Brandon Jacobs. Are you kidding me?
You didn't like Brandon Jacobs.
Brandon Jacobs, that's your best running back you got, really. That's your best.
Okay, no, there was the first name that came to my head. I'm sorry.
Brandon Jacobs is legendary. He does still have the record.
What'd you say, Kirby?
I said you have Tiki, we have Curtis Martin.
Okay, you're right. I just said it was the first name that popped to my head. First name.
Could have said Eli.
You need to get better. Yeah. You need to get better Giants than if your first person is Brandon Jacobs.
Shut up. When I'm screaming and I'm not thinking about it. I'm just trying to name players. Shut up. We'll get to football in a second. All right. Right. Finishing our Astros debate. I forgot where I was going with that point. Thank you. Totally forgot where I was going. But oh yeah, I remember. Yeah. New Yorkers, that we all hate each other. That's what I was saying. If you wrong someone, like if you wrong someone in New York, there is one thing that's like we hate each other, but it's like we'll take a break from 2 seconds and we got your back. Mm-hmm. So it's like, listen, the Astros rolling through here like that, you best believe, New York's coming together and we're gonna let you know you're not welcome here.
We're making that.
We're gonna let you know. New York sports. One thing I miss about like the whole state, I miss about sports in general, going around places, is like just that you can feel tension as you walk through stadiums. I miss that. I miss walking through Yankee Stadium and seeing people with Mets jerseys on or Red Sox jerseys on, and now it's just like they can walk freely and do whatever they. No, I should not be told to keep your mouth shut when I want to heckle them. Now, listen to me. I'm not being rude. I'm not cursing at them. I'm not being like I can't think of the word. I'm not like saying derogatory things. I'm not being a jerk. But I do remember going to games with my dad as like a little kid. I heard some things from other fans from different teams, and I'm like, this is great. I'm like, this is sports. This is part of it. I mean, the Yankees, like for me, the Yankees have a section in right field where it's just bleachers, and they are called the bleacher creatures.
Mm-hmm.
Why are they called that? Because it's usually where all the drunk people sit. It's usually where all the loud, crazy people sit. And it's usually, if you are from the opposite team, you don't sit there. There have been so many games where the Yankee fans have just caused so many riots with other players where like they'll point at the person and heckle them so much that security will come and take the fan of the opposing team out. That's how crazy we get. So there was nothing that I was looking forward to more than seeing the Astros step foot in every MLB stadium and like the umpires warning everyone before the game even starts and who gets hit first and how many hit by pitches Altuve's like count goes up this year.
Yeah, that was going to be bad.
Spring training as well.
What?
They were hit the most in spring training as well.
Oh yeah, of course. Especially spring training is like, what are these games? Like, you're gonna suspend me for spring training? Go for it, please.
Go ahead. I'll train at home.
Go for it. I mean, like, seriously. All right, real quick with the topic of cheating and stuff. There is one thing about baseball, and then we'll move on to another sport. But Kirby touched on it a little bit before. Pete Rose. So for those of you who don't know, Pete Rose is the all-time hits leader in baseball history. And I don't think there will ever be another player, including Mike Trout, that will surpass Pete Rose. Pete Rose has over 4,000 hits. Okay. How many players are in the 3,000 hit club? I think it was 26 or 27.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like, if you get to 3,000 hits in your MLB career, you are in elite company. You are one of the best to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Pete Rose hit it 4,000 times. So that's how good he was. But back in the day, what Pete Rose did, Pete Rose bet against himself to make a lot more money. Back then, baseball players were not making half of the amount that they're making today. And Pete Rose won a little bit of money. He found a way to do it. And back then, they banned Pete Rose from the Hall of Fame. And he was a second baseman, right? I think he moved around a little bit, but I think he was a second baseman.
Yeah.
One of the best hitters in baseball. And all he did was he took no drugs, no steroids, no enhancements, no nothing. He just literally bet money against his team and himself. And he would lose a couple of games on purpose, win here. He would make money. But what he did was wrong. We are not trying to defend Pete Rose, and what he did was wrong. But there are players now, such as Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, A-Rod, other players who have done, they're called PEDs, performance enhancement drugs. Mm-hmm. And they're just steroids. They make you stronger. They make you faster. They're you're enhancing yourself. Those guys are still being put on Hall of Fame ballots to be voted in to the Hall of Fame. Now, if we're trying to weigh stuff out here, I would like to think that drugs hold a little more significant value than just betting money. I mean, it's gambling, it's wrong, but Kirby, I'm gonna make you happy here. Let's bring a little math reference into this, okay?
The numbers.
You guys ever doing the equation? I don't know what they're actually called, but like you have X on one side, whatever, and it's like whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other.
Mm-hmm.
So if these players are getting into the Hall of Fame for doing drugs, but it still counts as cheating, Pete Rose cheated. Why is he not allowed to be in the Hall of Fame?
That's a good point.
What do you guys think?
I believe he belongs in the Hall of Fame. I don't see a reason why he shouldn't be. Of course it's a mistake he made at the time, and it was a big deal. But I believe that if you compare his mistakes to a lot of the cheating scandals and recent like PED stuff that we've seen from more players now, you really have to look at it like what he did was not as bad as what they did, because they are more directly affecting the game by like injecting this stuff into them to make them better players.
So
R.I.P. Kobe Bryant. Seriously,
Yeah.
That's heartbreaking.
Legend.
One of the most iconic moments. I mean, as great as his career is, like that right there.
It's in all of his highlight videos if you watch them. So something I've been doing, I don't know if you guys have been doing this, but during like this quarantine and stuff, like obviously there have been no sports on to watch. Like sometimes they'll broadcast like old games and do whatever, but I'll go on YouTube and I'll just look up like best highlights of this player, of this team, and like different things. And obviously with this heartbreaking passing of Kobe Bryant and his daughter and the other people in the accident, Kobe's all over YouTube even more. So I've been watching a bunch of his highlights, and that specific play is in every single highlight video. Every single, it's just the whole clip is 5 seconds long. I must have watched it about like 30 seconds worth. I just rewind it, watch it every time. How do you do that? Like, it's
amazing.
Like I wouldn't flinch because like I'm scared or something. It's natural reaction. Something's coming close to your face. This dude didn't even he didn't even blink.
Not even a blink. Not even a
boy. He was.
So
stone faced.
He's a boss, straight boss.
Okay, so if we're just real quickly, if we're talking about people getting into the Hall of Fame, right? So the thing is, like you said, Chris, if they cheated the game, however, whatever you want to say, they cheated the game in any way, they're not going into the Hall of Fame. Then technically, even though I'm against it, technically what they're doing with Pete Rose, I guess it falls under the same category as cheating the game. I guess technically, but I don't agree with it though, because like he didn't take away anything from anyone. Like he just bet on himself, kind of thing. So.
I don't know. It'll be debated until either he gets in, and then if he does get in, it'll be debated again. When he dies, it'll be debated again. It will forever be talked about. I think he belongs in the Hall, but what am I? Oh, we got Ray Vaughn on here. Oh, Swanee. Oh, hey. Okay.
Hey, my man, Josh.
All right. So let's transition a little bit out of baseball right now. We got a couple of these kids, and I see what they like. Let's move into basketball.
Yes, sir.
Talking a little bit of ball. I have a really sad confession to me, and as much of a sports fan as I am, I have not started the Michael Jordan documentary series yet. And I feel like crap. Vin and I have been talking about doing like a sports thing all like for about a month. So you'd think I'd have enough time to prepare or something, and here we are, and I have not watched it. I plan on watching it, but yeah.
Okay, I don't even know, man. You haven't watched a single.
Not even a single episode?
I've seen some of the highlights, and I've seen some clips bounce around from time to time. So I know I got a little bit inclination of it, but I don't have the full details of what's going on.
I think Alex Caruso's unguarded. Get out of here. Get out.
What did he say?
Alex Caruso's unguardable. Get out.
That's
Alex. All right. What do y'all think? All right, so let's talk about it. Alex Caruso's unguardable. Can that dude be guarded?
Yes. Yes.
Because let me tell you, wasn't he like, Nate, I think you can help me out here. Wasn't he like 15th or something like that in the All-Star voting?
Yeah. He got a lot of votes.
Let's be honest. Like this guy, he's not trash because, he's in the NBA so much better than I ever will be or could dream of being. But I swear, people on Twitter, people on on social media hype this guy up.
They're overhyped.
You'll see, because you really don't see Lakers games unless they're on prime time. So you see maybe 10 out of their 82 games. So when people hype him up on Twitter and get like a clip, you're gonna be like, "Oh, this guy's not that bad. This guy's pretty good." And that's how he got like so many All-Star votes over people. It's ridiculous.
Twitter's the reason why he got all those votes. He he's not a terrible player, but he's not all-star caliber.
Aaron, my boy
Yeah.
Aaron said Caruso dunked on KD. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have dunked on KD.
Yeah.
So is Jay.
KD's not like KD has height, but he's not like he doesn't have
Nothing. I'm not taking away nothing from KD. He's a boss, but I think he's been dunked on before. Isn't he like 52?
So
Yo, hands down, you know who I miss in the league for like no other purposes except just for the fact of looking at him because he's crazy? Freaking Birdman.
Yeah, that
Like-
mohawk.
Birdman.
I just loved him. He was just
Okay, hold on. I got a question. First of
What?
all, I love Birdman. Yes, I love him when he was on the Heat and all that. Love him. Do you guys think that they should pick up the NBA season? Like in July?
Yes.
You think they
Yeah.
should?
I think they should, because you have a lot of players who, if they pick up straight into the playoffs, a lot of guys are rested. I don't think that if you start straight into the playoffs, you can't really put that asterisk because for the most part, everyone who's in the playoffs will be mostly healthy. You can't really say, oh, this person was hurt, so now this team's affected. Most of these guys are going to be good for the playoffs if they were to start it straight into playoffs. So I don't think you could really put that asterisk. I really think that's a good reason to hop straight into the playoffs.
Well, the thing is, you got to go straight into the playoffs now.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't do regular season anymore. Like you just got to hop into it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like I don't know if I'd put an asterisk there, but I feel like LeBron and like I don't know, like the teams that I would just know if I was a team that I didn't have any injuries and you had like people that were nicked up on other teams and we come back, I would be fuming.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it happened all the time. Like the Mets literally injured every single day. If I was a healthy team and we were hot into like March, yeah, I'd be so mad. But the
Well,
thing
that was
I'd rather have a season than no season. But is it safe to do it during this time? I don't know.
Well, that was being debated. Like I don't mean to bring it back to baseball, but you're talking about all the injuries. There were a lot of teams this season that were going to be starting behind the 8 ball because of injuries.
Mhm.
And everyone knows like the start to any sports season, you want to get off to a good start. So that way, even if you have a little fall off somewhere in the middle, you still have a little bit of cushion where it's like you're not falling too far behind where it's like now you have no chance of the playoffs. So that good start to a season is vital to a team. And even like mid-season injuries are even worse because like Kirby said, you're getting hot and all of a sudden like KD got injured that year. A lot of people debate Golden State would have won if they had Kevin Durant.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I guess we can talk about that. But like it's hard to debate that. So I agree. I would like to see the season. I guess that's just the sports fan in me. I want to see sports back. I'm going to be honest with you, and this is any sport that comes back. I don't think I would fully honor the team that wins the championship that year in any sport just because of.
You're telling me if the Yankees won, you wouldn't take that? You wouldn't honor that championship?
It would, honest to God, I would listen to me. Shut up. Shut up.
Still talk about the 27 world championships that you've won since like 1885. Like, there's no way that you're not gonna bring this championship up if the Yankees do win. Just throwing that out there.
1908. Anyway, listen to me. In the moment, I would watch the game. I would go freaking nuts, just like it would be any other World Series. But in all honesty, I would have a hard time accepting it. I really would. Like, I would not be satisfied this year if they won. I would still be looking forward to next year when we get the 162 games in, when we play a full season, that and playoffs. And I want the full thing. I want to show everyone we can beat you with the full thing. All right. And I think I want that with all sports. But that's so would I accept? Yeah. Would I still count it? Would if it's still being counted? Yeah. You know what? That's number 28 for us. But you know what? If I had to bring it up in an argument with, let's say, like this guy, like a Mets fan or something like that, or if I'm debating a Red Sox fan on something, I would not bring up that World Series in my defense for the Yankees. I wouldn't.
Okay. I'm just gonna hit a question right here that we have right here.
Okay. I'm glad you're looking at the questions because I keep forgetting and I just look at you guys.
Rookie of the year for NBA, Nate. Chris.
Wait,
It's
what?
not
Wait,
Zion,
what'd you
right?
what'd you say?
Rookie of the year.
Rookie of the year.
You can't choose Zion. I don't think you can choose Zion for playing.
You can't because he wasn't there for long enough.
Although I do think he was the best player. Out of all
Who right now who right
season.
now is like the top 3 rookie of the year candidates? Let's look that.
I mean,
Top
Let's,
3.
Ja and Zion. Those are the only 2 that you'd consider. I would
Who?
consider.
Zion, Kendrick Nunn.
Off Miami, right?
Yeah. And if you were to add a fourth,
D-Wade.
if you were to add a fourth, maybe you could maybe put in RJ, but I don't know about it.
So I'm looking it up right now.
I think you could.
As of, let's see, as of basketballreference.com, the players that they have as like your top 4. Let's see, where'd that page go? Okay, they have. I don't think this is right because this site doesn't even have Zion on here.
Well, that's because they only played half, so that makes
Well, that's
sense.
true. They have RJ Barrett, Darius Basley or Baisley. I don't know how to say half of these guys' names, guys.
I do think RJ was doing better towards the end of the year, but I would not even close put him in like.
They have Alexander Walker. I don't know how to say that guy's first name.
Nikhil Alexander Walker.
Yeah. And then Goga.
Yeah, his last name's unpronounceable.
Yeah,
I can't.
I don't know. I'm not gonna just for the whatever. Those are your main guys that they have up as rookie of the year. I have Rayvon said Morant too. Let me look at his stats. Let's see.
If we had a full, like if we played the rest of the NBA season, which is like another 10 or 12 games or whatever, I forgot.
Yeah.
Then I think Zion would have more of a chance, but since it was cut short and he entered late as well, like it's got.
You see, basketball. Now that I think basketball and hockey, they were both coming towards like the end of their season. So like Nate, what you were saying, like they're both your playoff teams are pretty much set. I don't think there were.
Yeah, I agree.
Sorry, that was an ESPN ad that I didn't realize was playing. Yeah, I do think their seasons were coming close enough to the end where 12 games was not going to make a difference for one team. Whether like the top team dropped 12 and the second place team won 12 straight, it wouldn't have made that much of a difference. Maybe a different seeding in that sense, but I don't even think so. That's why I think it would be cool for basketball to come back. Hockey had a little more games that the Rangers could have made a push for the playoffs, but I still would like to see it come back. But the question of, like you said, is it safe? I don't really know. I don't think anybody really knows what's safe anymore with this virus thing. So it's kind of like,
yeah, you got to be skeptical. You have to.
Like you're gonna have the guys run around in masks, like with their team logo on it or something.
But like,
What?
don't be wrong. I love sports. I live for sports. Like it is like one of my biggest passions, right?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought I would be doing worse without sports than I'm doing right now. And
Yeah.
I know
Good for you guys. I'm doing good for you guys.
I'm like, you know what? I can't really put my selfish desires, which is wanting sports, over like the health of like, these players and their families and all that. Like, like starting up a season, but like having all the teams like play at one stadium or one field or one arena, and like that's just a lot of craziness. And like, God forbid one person gets it, just like what's his name did. Who's the guy that got it on Utah?
Gobert.
Yeah.
Like God forbid one person in the entire MLB gets it, right? Let's say he plays right field, and then he gets the ball, he's sweating, gets his face, throws the ball in, and the pitcher gets it. Then the fan, then whoever gets that ball, because you got to retrieve the balls. Whoever gets that ball is now sick, and like, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I just don't know how I feel about sports right now, and I'm surprisingly okay without it right now.
Mm-hmm.
Better than I thought, especially with the Jordan documentary like here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I will say. What'd you say, Kirby? I didn't hear that last part.
I would say the Jordan documentary is like helping a lot of sports fans like cope with
Yeah.
this.
I will say, like all the sport, MLB, NHL, NBA, they have the NFL's in the off season, so it really hasn't affected them all too much. But like those three major sports have like really picked it up in like staying active. Like I know they've done a lot of players tournaments, so it's like they've been having a bunch of players play a 2K tournament. MLB has had like a players league series, they call it. So it's like all the MLB players are going head to head and playing the show. NHL has been doing that series. PK Subban, he's a defenseman for the New Jersey Devils. So they're just garbage. But he's been doing a series on the NHL Instagram called NHL Hat Trick Challenge, where they're doing NHL trivia and they're giving away like a jersey and 2 tickets to like next year's season. So a lot of them have picked it up, so it has made some sports fun even more. I love to see players off the field like interact with like just like playing against each other and like seeing like all right, wait, Trevor Bauer is one of the greatest people.
That's a bad one.
I'm gonna bring up something quick. I just like I was saying, I just love to see the players interact, because at the end of the day, I think something we forget about athletes, they're human beings. You know, they have the same dreams and everything like us. A lot of them that we don't know about have degrees in so many other subjects, bro. Some of these guys had 4.0. Some of these dudes could be out here just doing anything, but they're playing sports. Some of them are just Mookie Betts is a stupid athlete. Like the dude's athleticism is crazy. Shout out to Mookie though, because he is a bowler, so I appreciate that. He has a 300. I have a 300. I appreciate that. Yeah, I bowled my 300 in high school. Yeah.
Okay, maybe I didn't know that.
So like I just appreciate what all the leagues are doing with the players and like keeping up with us and like allowing us to be interactive with that. I think it's really cool.
I think
as you can see,
media is like important for all these fan bases.
Yeah, it's huge. Steve, what up? We miss you. My boy Steve is on. So now that Steve's on, Kirby just changed his picture. Talk about football. Okay. Recently, the NFL draft just happened. And if you're anywhere in New York, you're pissed.
Unless you're a Bills fan. Let
me just say that.
Oh yeah, Buffalo, I guess, is New York. I mean,
this is the first one. Buffalo is like not a New York team. Okay,
that's why I said New York. That's why I'm like Buffalo is New York. Listen to me. My sister went to States for bowling. Okay, and it was in Rochester. We drove 8+ hours to Rochester. We were right next to Buffalo. If I got to drive 8 hours somewhere, you're not New York. How come when I go up there, like you look like completely different? You live in the country. You're not New York. You don't know nothing about New York. What do you eat for breakfast? Kirby, what do you eat for breakfast?
Bacon and cheese.
Thank you. Thank you.
So you're telling me if the Bills won the Super Bowl, you would not say that's a New York win?
Heck no. Heck no.
And I know that's dumb because they're the only actual football team in New York, because the Jets and Giants play in Jersey.
Yeah.
But I don't consider that. Like when I was in Florida, I met this one guy, and we both lived in New York, and we tell people, yo, we're from New York. They're like, no way, what part? I'm like, I'm from Queens. They're like, no way, that's so cool. They're like, what about you? And he's like, I'm from Buffalo. They're like, oh.
Like, there is no street cred in Buffalo. Like you don't even want to bring it closer. You want to bring it closer? Syracuse, 6 hours. We go there all the time for youth convention.
That's true.
When I did my internship in South Carolina last summer, I had a couple of teams from New York, come through, okay? And they were telling me where they're from. And they're naming all these different places. And I'm like, is that a country? I'm like, where are you from? They're like, oh, no, we're like all the way upstate New York. Like we know like what they like know what the real freezing cold is. Okay. Mm-hmm. I said, y'all ain't from New York. I said, that's not it. That's not New York.
Just to get back into football, the Jets surprisingly, in my opinion, had a pretty good draft. Like this is the first draft in a while, I think, ever that I've ever been satisfied as a fan. Ever.
I will say, I was skeptical of the Mekhi Becton pick. I was pretty skeptical with him. I think you guys should have taken Jedrick Willis.
Okay, first of all, did you see the size of my man's father? If we drafted his father, I would have been like, he would have been fine as well. Are you kidding me? But I completely agree. Because it was a toss up between him and the other OT. I mean, I don't really know that. I don't watch college football enough to really know these guys that well. But like,
Love it. Got the game right here.
the Jets were contemplating on getting a wide receiver, and they traded down for like 3 picks. Didn't trade down for like 2 picks, and they still got that wide receiver they were looking at. Like those are GM moves that like you look for. And I was pretty impressed with, not gonna lie. I don't know what you think about the Giants though, because I'm not a fan of them, so I don't really care.
The first round pick I was pretty mad about because Isaiah Simmons was on the board and we really should have took him, and we didn't. I hope Andrew Thomas does well, but I'm pretty skeptical. But the rest of the draft I didn't hate. The rest of our draft I didn't hate.
Listen, I'm a little more mad, but listen, Andrew Thomas is a big boy. All right, dude's big. So like, I'm stoked about that. He looks like he can just like rip into dudes trying to get past the line and stuff, which I'm stoked about. But we also thought that about Flowers, number one. He's probably, I don't even like, he's just someone like you put on the Madden game and you do like force trades or whatever. He's the first one to go. Doesn't even matter if it's the same position. He's just the first one to go. So Andrew Thomas, am I 100% pissed? Yes, only because when you're sitting 4th round, like, I mean, first round, 4th round pick, you literally have it made. It's like, say, hey, here's an elite player. Everybody gets one. Have fun. It's like there is no really wrong player to pick at that point, unless it's a position that you don't need. But like when you do a fantasy draft and you throw down and you have like the top 10 fantasy picks, you have Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas,
Christian McCaffrey.
Christian McCaffrey's boss. Is Julio Jones a top? He's not top 10, is he?
Probably not from this past season.
Well, no, but all right. But you have guys like that where you have like the first 10 picks. It's like, why do you think people bail out of drafts after like the 3rd round? Because it's like that I can't stand that. Guys, draft fully, please. Don't just take the first 2-round picks and then leave. You're so annoying.
Exactly.
But so I just think it was a waste of a pick when you're sitting 1st round, 4th pick. I think we could have done much better. I think we still could have maybe gotten him later in the draft, or maybe someone of his position just as good later in the draft. Pick up a 1st rounder. Like, I don't know if the Giants are like happy being consistently terrible, but
also, can we just say real quickly, who was it? I forgot his name. Was it the head coach or the GM for the Giants? That my man, and we didn't learn about this till like the day 2 of the NFL draft, but he was wearing a mask when he was by himself.
Dave Gettleman. It's actually because he battled cancer before, and that's why.
Honestly, I want to say, and I apologize then, because I guess no one knew that. And
you couldn't have said that before I laughed. Like,
I laughed too when I first heard it, and then I felt bad after because I was like, wow, I didn't even know that.
Wearing a mask. And then it came out afterwards why he's wearing it. And I'm like, why couldn't you tell me before that, before everyone started going off on this guy?
It was funny that I saw Bill Belichick got a lot of hate because they showed him in the beginning. He had his dog with him, like right next to the computer, and they're joking around like, oh, his dog is drafting for him. And then like when they came down to the Patriots pick, his dog wasn't there. It's like, Belichick, honestly, like, get this through your head. Nobody wants to see you draft. We want to see your dog.
Bro, like, that's what Bill Belichick drafted a D2 cornerback. So everyone's like, yo, the dog's making these picks.
Belichick knows what he's doing. Belichick knows what he's doing.
Coach, and I'm like, yo, I'm here for that.
Speaking of football, speaking of the stupid Patriots, Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski reunited in Tampa.
I want to see them fail so badly.
What the heck is going to go on in Tampa Bay?
Okay, can I tell you something?
Yes, that's what we're here for.
Succeed as a Jets. I don't know why. Maybe this is like maybe I'll be like hated on as a Jets fan. I don't know why, but like the main reason why I hated Brady was because he was on the Patriots and he was great all the time.
Yeah.
So the greatness isn't going to change, but the main reason why I hated him, like if he was on the Cardinals and he was great every year, like I didn't really care for him. Like I would like to, but I don't really care about the Cardinals. So now that he's on the Bucks, I'm like, who cares about him now? He kills it. But the thing is, it'd be really interesting to see because now everyone was wondering who's better, Brady or Belichick? Who can survive?
Yeah, I saw those. Yeah.
We've already seen Bill Belichick survive with Matt Castle, and then we've seen Matt Castle fail in Kansas City.
Yeah.
He's a proven winner as a head coach.
Yeah.
Brady, especially now that he's on the decline, I want to see if he can pick it back up. If he picks it back up, then it'll probably solidify his greatness. But if he fails, then we'll probably blame it on the old age, and he'll still
definitely.
But it'll be interesting because if he comes back and kills it this year, I think that'll solidify him as the GOAT of all quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But I saw posts. What?
He also has a lot of weapons. Like he has Chris Godwin, he has
Mike Evans
and Gronkowski. Like it's ridiculous.
I saw posts that were saying like Gronk came back because he wasn't done with football. He was done with Belichick.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's hysterical. Outside of the Patriots, listen, I still don't like Tom Brady. I still don't like Julian Edelman. I still don't like a lot of them. But Rob Gronkowski, off of football, like off the field, he is one of the freaking funniest guys I've ever met.
Yeah.
Actually, I haven't met him. I wish I can meet him. Gronk, can I meet you? Like, I'll spike a football in anyone's face. Let's do it. I don't care. You're walking down the street, go up to the mailman, just spike. But he is one of the funniest dudes, and like that's what makes me like semi root for him in games where it's like, okay, I like you, but like you just did that, but you're cool. Okay, like whatever. Like,
and I do think that like the biggest, the toughest part about being a fan nowadays in sports is also playing fantasy.
Oh, dude, it's so. Yeah. Oh my gosh, let me tell you something. I don't know if you guys get this petty as I do, but let me tell you something. I get very petty. In the past 2 years, Alex Bregman, the third baseman for the Houston Astros, he has been very good offensively. He really has. He has been available to be my pick in the draft. I have skipped over him purposely because I don't want him on my team. Or what I do big in baseball and hockey, even football, but not so much football because football I feel like is a little bit more of an individual player like point system. Of course, every other thing is also because you're drafting individual players, but you can have a game where like I remember I had McCaffrey on my team one season and the Panthers lost and they did terrible, but McCaffrey threw up 35 points.
Yeah.
So it's like their fantasy value is different than other sports, but hockey, the Rangers, let me tell you something. My biggest rivalries, I hate the Philadelphia Flyers, hate you all with a passion. I hate the Pittsburgh Penguins, probably my most hated team in the league. I don't like you, Princess Crosby. I have other names for you, but I will not say them. Okay. But what I've done in any guys from the Red Sox, hi, get out. What I do is I draft them, but I use them as trade bait. So like I will draft Sidney Crosby. Okay. I will draft Mookie Betts. I will draft all your top players from your teams, not because I want you. I want to get rid of you. I don't want you on my team. Okay.
Anyone here, just so you know, little fantasy insider for all you guys. Always do 2-for-1 trades where you're giving up 2.
Yes.
And you're getting 1 in return.
Yes.
Yeah. We're just gonna go football because we'll go basketball because I feel like everyone understands basketball. Mm-hmm. Like I'm just gonna go football. It's much easier because I play fantasy football. Like if you have a running back such as who's a really good running back, someone give me one.
Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
One Christian McCaffrey, right? What you're gonna do is you're gonna trade up your best running back, who has to be really good. Like let's say Barkley. Barkley.
Saquon, yeah.
Yeah.
McCaffrey's just much better because McCaffrey's a freaking god when it comes to fantasy. You got to throw in. You got to look at the other person's roster, see where they're slacking.
Yes.
If they're slacking at tight end, you give them your like backup tight end, so you don't really give up 2 starters for one.
Mm-hmm.
Give up like your second best wide receiver if they're slacking on wide receivers. A little 2-for-1 action. Then you make like 3 of those trades, and your team is stacked. Well, fantasy.
For those of you who play fantasy anything and don't like trading, get out. It's fantasy. Let's have fun with this. Let's do something. I cannot stand when I do fantasy football leagues and I throw up 3 different trades to 3 teams and I don't even get the email that says it's been rejected. It just expires.
The worst. That's the worst.
At least reject it. Come on.
That means you looked at it every day you got on the app and didn't even do anything.
And you just let it expire. And you know what I like to do too? Sometimes after like week 3 or 4, I'll target the teams that are like 0-3, 1-2. Like I'll target the losing teams. Because even though you're losing, you still have at least 3. You have at least 1 first-round pick, and you have at least 3 decent guys. So that means, and I'm not saying this to brag or anything, but in our young adults group that we have here at Bethlehem, we have done a fantasy football league the past, I think, 2 years or 3. I've won the league twice.
You know it twice.
Yes, I did. I won twice.
Bro, I won it last year.
I won it twice, dude. What?
You won this year. I won last year.
Yeah, and then I won it twice.
I'm not believing it. Keep going.
I'll go back and look it up. Anyway, whatever. So over the years, I have drafted some really good teams and everything. So it's like I'm trying to make my team even more elite, and I see that you suck. So what I'm trying to do is that's when I'll throw in like the 2-for-1s, or I'll even throw you like a 3-for-1, where it's like I'll give you 3 players who might throw up 10, 11 points. Which 10, 11 points is not that great, but when you got 3 guys doing that for yourself who's losing, give me a guy like McCaffrey and Kamara or Thomas or something like that, because you're giving up an elite, but you're making up for it where everyone else is lacking. And if anything, hopefully you're my boy and you can just throw me a pick in a trade and like just let me win. But
are you admitting to cheating in fantasy football? Do we need to
wait, Kirby, you want to hear about cheating in fantasy football? Let me tell you this.
We need an asterisk. That's all I'm asking.
No, I don't need anything. Look, you want to see why that boy is smirking? He's silent. Watch this. Okay, listen to me.
So
we did what?
Okay. Nate's helping you in these trades. Okay.
No, Nate's helping himself, and he can't even win. Wait 1 second. Wait 1 second. No, you don't get to defend yourself.
This was 2 years ago.
I don't care how you
I take full responsibility for my actions, but let it go. It was 2 years ago.
I did not touch that one. No, so we were doing fantasy football was coming around. We're all doing the drafts, and Nate's like, I want to do a league and stuff. So we're like, all right, put it together. Let's do a league. And he was like struggling to find people. So he does one of the wackest things you can for fantasy. And he throws like a 6-man league or something. Like,
bro, was that this past year?
No,
that was the year before.
So what he does is homie drops another email and Nate has 2 teams in the league. So what his intentions are doing.
In the 6-man league?
Yeah. Nonetheless, in the 6-man league. Okay. What he does is he tries to be slick. You know, he's drafting for both teams.
No. I wasn't trying to be slick. I wasn't being smart at the time. I didn't realize what I was doing.
Yeah, okay.
You fully realized what you were doing.
No,
you made
I'm an
2
idiot.
teams.
I'm an idiot.
All right, hold up. Quick question, because I know we're running out of time.
We have time. I'll cut you off.
Is there anything else we got to talk about before we just rip on Nate for cheating in fantasy?
No, because the year after, I didn't cheat and came from second place in the league.
Kirby, what were you saying?
I said we're not in the pros, so we only have fantasy football, basketball, baseball to live for. So,
I mean, I'll say this because I know there are a lot of kids at BYC who enjoy soccer. Kirby actually played soccer his whole life. He played his whole college career. I've watched him play multiple times. He's very good. I enjoy soccer very much. I love playing soccer. Your other leaders, Danny, he plays soccer. We started playing soccer on Sunday nights, and then coronavirus hit. But I very much enjoy the game. Um, I'm Italian, so I do follow more of like the Serie A kind of leagues and stuff like that. I am a Juve fan. Before Ronaldo, before we got Ronaldo, I was a fan of Juve. Let me just point that out. Just want to point that out. Thank you, Bonucci and everyone else, my guys. But I know a lot of you guys like the Champions League. A lot of Pastor Henry and all them are Man United fans. So I do try and watch from time to time. I'm going to be honest with you. I have not been keeping up too much with it. I have to get back on that. I do have FIFA 20. I have been playing that quite a bit. We get my butt spanked because it's been a while. So very frustrating. But if anyone wants to challenge me, I have a PS4. Hit me up. Let's play.
Me. I'm the one that they need to challenge.
Actually, yes. Yes. Kirby does this little thing where he catches you off guard and plays with a national team, Cameroon. Okay. He plays with
Ivory Coast.
Oh no, it's Ivory Coast. I'm sorry. You're right. He plays with the Ivory Coast, and everyone's thinking, boy, it's Argentina. It's everyone else versus Ivory Coast. You're about to get smacked. These dudes are like Usain Bolt. Oh my gosh. They're like 99 plus in speed. They don't have to have no skill. They just run past you up the freaking field, and that's it. Oh my gosh, it was so frustrating to play this man. I'm like slide tack whenever. I'm getting yellow cards on my whole team. Like my son
lost to you once, right?
What?
Did I lose? I think I lost to you once, right?
Yeah, you lost to me. Yes, once. Yes.
Still upset.
So hit us up. We love a challenge. But anyway, back to finishing my story. Nate Moore made 2 football teams in the same league. Okay. And he traded all the guys from one team onto another to make one of the best teams in the league. He lost.
Ridiculous.
He lost. How do you draft 2 teams? So you know what that means? Instead of everyone having 1 first round pick, he has 2. He has 2. Okay.
The thing is that when you have a 6-man team, everyone you have is stacked, and literally it's just a crapshoot. You don't know who's going to do well. When you have 2 teams like that, man, it's just more stressful on you.
At the time, I will say this. At the time, I wasn't as informed with fantasy football. At the time, I was not as informed. I was only looking for big names, and that didn't work out because that was the year when Edelman got suspended for the PEDs. I think Brady had gotten suspended for like the first few games of the season. But last year, I cleaned up pretty well, and I drafted well too. I got McCaffrey. I think I had Mahomes.
You got an L next to your name. Okay, is what you got.
I won almost every game.
A big L.
I only lost to Vinny in the championship, and that was it. I beat you by like 100 points one time.
You still lost in the championship. Anyway.
I got farther than you. I got farther than you, though.
Oh, that was the point I was going to make before. We were talking about the Patriots. I hate the Patriots, but one of the things I do love about the Patriots is that if you look at their seasons, they all have winning seasons. Mm-hmm. But some of the games that they have lost are the most significant losses in NFL history. And a lot of their losses come in the Super Bowl.
To the Giants, baby.
One was to the Giants. Like, Patriots, like...
Hold on, real quick. Sorry to cut you off, Chris.
No, go.
Eli Manning, Hall of Fame, yes or no?
Eli Manning, Hall of Fame, yes or no? Oh, wow.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Yes.
I'm saying yes. Eli Manning goes to the Hall of Fame.
Ultimate conversation of do championships matter? Like, Charles Barkley, 0 championships, but great NBA player, belongs in the Hall.
He was also on the Dream Team.
I was talking. Who was I talking to? Excuse me. I have to burp. I was talking to Vinny about this. I think it was Vinny, maybe someone else or something. We were debating a bunch of different sports and like Eli in the Hall and everything. And we were saying like, it is crazy, like the different dynamics that sports hold and what they value as like Hall of Fame and whatnot and stuff. Because you look at baseball, you look at a player like Mike Trout right now. if Mike Trout were to, God forbid, please, God forbid this, he gets hurt and doesn't play again or is not the same, or he retires right now, he's going in the Hall of Fame. Okay? Mike Trout, at the end of his career, we can already say he is in the Hall of Fame. He's made one postseason appearance. One. And I don't think they made it out of the first round. I think the Angels played the Yankees. And they didn't make it out of the first. It might have been the second round. But Mike Trout has not made it to a championship series nor the World Series. He has no rings. But he's going to be Hall of Fame for his ballot. Someone like Alex Rodriguez, okay, before 2009, homie didn't have a ring. Okay, that's why the biggest debate, like Jeter, A-Rod, Jeter had 5 rings. A-Rod had none. So, like, but A-Rod was still going down, one of the greatest hitters in the game, most home runs. Okay, the guy was clutch. So that's baseball. You can have no rings, no World Series, like minimum postseason appearances, and be one of baseball's best. You look at something like football, and you have like the question come up.
But it depends on the position as well, like position. Because
Yes.
running back, the greatest running back, and you don't have a championship ring, I think that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yes.
QB,
you're looking at, it's a very interesting question. Do championships matter? I think you really have to look at the players on the teams with the quarterbacks and see like what are their real resources? Who do they have? Are they like
look back at the defenses too? Look back at the defenses.
Yeah, because defense is what
Giants defense killed it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't think that the team that beat the 18-0 Patriots, that defense was pretty suspect. That defense wasn't holding up as well as people thought that they would have. Aside from what's his name, Strahan.
Michael Strahan.
Do I vote him into the Hall?
I'm gonna be honest. This is hard.
I can 100% see why people would, and I can't be upset either way. I cannot be upset if he goes. I can't be upset. I think if he goes in, he'll probably be the worst. No, I think Joe Namath is the worst statistical quarterback in the Hall of Fame. But besides Joe Namath, I think Eli will probably be one of the worst.
Yeah.
He had way too many seasons with like freaking 30 interceptions and 10 touchdowns. I know.
I think that's like a big thing for quarterbacks is your interceptions and like pick six and all that. Like that is something you have to look at when you take into account. But I think like if you look at someone like Drew Brees, how many Super Bowls has Drew Brees won?
One
or two.
Just
one or two. One or two. That man's going in the Hall of Fame. I think so. Drew Brees is a boss. But you look at him now with only 1 or 2. Eli has 2. So I mean, you're looking at the same number of trophies, but like they're heavily debated. I just think the Saints have been screwed by the refs out of 2 championships. But because if you look at a team like Drew Brees, you got Michael freaking Thomas, Alvin Kamara. Give me the other wide receiver.
Ted Ginn Jr.
Yeah. I mean, the Saints are rolling in crazy players. So if you look at the Saints, they're there. They're in the championship every year. So I mean, now let's say you throw Manning on the Saints with those same guys. Is it different? Is it not? What kind of quarterbacks are Brees and Manning? I think Brees is better than Manning. I love you, Eli, but I think Brees is like. But so I think when it comes down to like saying, do championships matter? I'm gonna say no, because you have to take other things into consideration for that. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard. I'm still gonna lean more towards no, because there's 1,000 other things to look at in a quarterback. Whether or not your defense can hold up and how you get taken to a championship is not just based on your quarterback. It has a great deal of it, but if your defense isn't holding up to keep you in the game to give you those situations, you're screwed. If your receivers are dropping passes, you're screwed. And then if you screw yourself because you're throwing interceptions and stuff, I mean, there's that. But I mean, that's hard. I don't know. I wish Vin was here to debate that one. I don't know.
I'm gonna make this point. I think in this specific, when you're speaking about Eli specifically, I think the championships are gonna be what gets him in, because not only was it the 2 rings he has, He was MVP in both of those Super Bowls with very clutch plays during those seasons. And I think it was the last one, the second one that he won. He had a lot of clutch plays in that NFC Championship game against the Packers, which that game they really should not have won. And almost in both of those playoff runs, the Giants shouldn't have won almost all of those games. And Eli found a way. Those playoff runs are going to be
Found
the
a way.
why.
Found a way. Drake and Josh,
Yes.
sorry. But yeah, that's hard. That's a fun thing to sit here and talk about. What?
I think that's the only thing I'll get him in. Like
what?
Also, maybe the consecutive starts record that he had until he got benched for.
That is true. No,
but I don't think that has nothing for Hall of Fame. That's consistent.
Consecutive start. I feel like
He wasn't consistent with his stats. So then
he was consistent enough to stay a starter for that long.
Well, that's also because, in all honesty, the Giants really didn't have someone to kind of throw like a backup. I feel like if the Giants would have had like a consistent, solid backup, maybe Eli looks a little different. I think like if Kirby, what you say, like if your stats line up and you're consistent with your stats, then the consecutive starts is just a boost for you and you just look like more of a boss with it. But when you have your consecutive starts, because kind of nobody's under you a little bit and your stats aren't lining up with the starts a bit, it's kind of a hard argument to pose. Yeah, I can see that.
That's true.
Yeah. Aaron keeps asking me, Aaron, I'm not forgetting about you, bro. I'm sorry. I just know that Aaron keeps asking me UFC questions, and I just know that a lot of you guys like don't fully watch UFC like Aaron, myself, and like our friend Daniel does.
Did you watch Saturday night?
I did watch it Saturday night. It was
a great night.
It's a little sad, but I will say this, talk about UFC real quick because I am running out of time. He asked me between Smith and Glover real quick. I think Smith is going to win. That's just my opinion. And then Gagey, or however you say his name, versus Khabib. I don't know if you guys know too much. You don't have to be a UFC fan to be loving drama and everything. Go look up the Conor McGregor versus Khabib drama. Okay.
That beef is amazing.
Go look that up. And then I promise you're going to hate Conor after that. But Conor, wait.
Team Conor. All the guys are Team Conor that night.
Conor has to be the bad guy.
Listen, because during that fight, Conor was the top of the UFC, and so was Khabib, and that was the fight of the freaking century. That was supposed to be it. And then Conor got pretty wrecked. I will say he landed a couple, but Conor got pretty wrecked. And listen, Conor took a little break, but Conor made a comeback. And what he's been doing in the UFC lately, for a while, I was like, Conor's a little disrespectful, dude. You can't be I can't like fully like represent like like your brand or something like that and say I'm a Conor fan with some of the things you're doing lately. What he's been doing, I'm saying it right now. So this is on the internet. If you want to go back and like fact check me on it, if I ever start to be contradicting, Conor McGregor is my dude. I love Conor McGregor. Okay, when I have my haircut, everyone says I look like him. I don't care if he's really arrogant sometimes. Sometimes it's good in sport. I love Conor McGregor. Okay, let me put it that way. McGregor's coming back. He's making a huge comeback. He's been throwing out some real sub tweets that they're not subs. He directly tweet people. He is a boss. Yeah. He is coming after everyone, and he's coming back with a vengeance. Conor McGregor, you'll probably never see this, but if you do, I'm with you 110%. Freaking beat everyone.
Yeah,
Let's
I'm
go.
backing him.
Let's go. Team McGregor. Okay.
Oh man, I don't.
Had to put that out there.
Is there beef with these two fighters? With Khabib and whoever the guys.
I don't think there's beef. Between the two of them. I think there's like a mutual respect after the fight from Saturday night. Okay. But Conor just tore into them both on Twitter, so it didn't matter.
Oh, that was hilarious. What they did. But Anthony Pettis and Cowboy Cerrone gave us a fight.
That was a brawl.
They gave us one of my favorite fighters. Like he's been like overseas a bit doing stuff, but Brian Ortega is a boss. And if you go up and look up Brian Ortega versus Max Holloway, they have one of the sickest bloodbaths I've ever watched. And I know we sound crazy, like we're like, yeah, we love blood and everything, and like, yeah, go beat up people, but it's a weird sport to love. With that being said, I will say we are running out of time, even though you're throwing out some great debates, Aaron, with some of the questions. But if there are any more sports debates you want, hit us up on the Instagram, hit us up on our personal Instagrams. If you have any fantasy questions, hit us up. So with that, I will say, do we have any final thoughts on any sport, anything, any final thoughts in general, whatever, before we end this? What do we got? Final thoughts on some things, predictions for something, whatever. What do we go? What are you doing?
Ad or like we're doing hot takes right now, or what we're trying to do?
Hot takes.
What'd you say? No, hot takes all the way. Hot takes. Yeah.
This is a personal one, okay? Because okay.
All right.
And I know 100%, 1000%. I completely agree. Yankees, a way better franchise than the Mets. Right?
Okay.
I just don't know why you guys always bring up the past every single year. I hate it with a passion. If you count how many World Series you guys have, 52 when the Mets were established, to 2019, the last World Series, I think you guys have 6 World Championships and we have 2. So I don't know why Yankee fans keep talking all this smack as if they're the best franchise, and literally they have 4 more World Series in a span of like 40 years.
I will listen to me with that debate. That's been brought to me before by like outside people I don't even know, and some like friends like you have right now. I will say, in my arguments with Yankee, unless we're specifically talking about like specific World Series or something like that, rings hold a certain value in baseball. Okay, the 27 rings definitely hold up as one of the greatest franchise. We threw up some of the greatest teams in history, or some of the players. You had Mantle, Ruth, Maris, Yogi Berra. We did do that. We have that, but I will say, to people who just use that as an argument and their only argument, I will say I don't think their knowledge of the sport goes too in depth on anything, because if you really have like knowledge on any sport, you can really go into minor details and debate why certain teams are the best and what championships were this and that, players and all that. But I can't dispute anything that you said because it's true. But what I will say is this. Even though in that time span, we may have only won maybe 6 World Series or whatever the number is, for fans to dispute the fact that our argument is we have more rings than you, you know what? From that time on to now, we have had, only counting from the time the Mets came into the league, the Yankees were there. So if you start that time period, let's say we both start there, we both have the equal amount of years up until now. You guys have had some solid teams and some players over the past that are in the Hall of Fame that are considered to be some of the Mets greats. Y'all had plenty of time to throw up some more championships, but you didn't.
2015.
So I'm just,
We talk about 2015, Nate. Please bring it up.
Nate, you brought that up at the wrong time. We trying to end a little bit, but
it lives in me. Game 1, Yoenis Cespedes catch the dang ball. Game 2, we got smacked around. What was it? Game 3, we actually won Game 3, surprisingly. Game 4, Lucas Duda can't throw home 90 feet. And then the next one, Daniel Murphy can't field a ground ball. 4 games right there, we lost. Oh! All right. All that to say, hopefully A-Rod J-Lo by the Mets this year. I'm good.
So A-Rod's going to buy the Mets, and then he's going to be like, all right, I'm coming out retirement and start playing for the Mets. No, I'm kidding. That would be terrible. Oh, my God. That would be a Mets move. But I will say this. This is my hot take, okay? Bring Bartolo back in the league. Somebody sign him. I want Bartolo on a major league roster by 2021, okay?
Universal DH, yes or no? Real quick. Yeah.
Oh, now we're going to go here. Kirby.
I haven't said my hot take yet.
Yes or no?
Universal DH.
Yes or no? Can't end.
Yes.
Makes
it more even.
Nate
no.
says yes.
I'm saying no. I'm saying no.
I'm saying no as well.
I'm saying no.
I respect your opinion.
I respect yours. I'm saying no.
Sure.
In a real quick talk, let's talk about. I love seeing pitchers hit. I love seeing pitchers who rake. I love seeing Bartolo Colon freaking.
Bartolo Colon has the greatest home run of all time.
Listen, MLB made it fair. They're like, it's a national. What I do think over the couple of years, what it's been, there has been a little more interleague play than there was in the past. So I don't know why that's been a thing, but maybe if you lessen that a bit.
But they're talking about universal DH for this year if they're having a season, and I think that's what's going to start it. I think they're going to do it this year, and that's what I think.
They're like, oh, here's a short season. Let's try and throw to all the other experimental things and keep it. And then,
well, if there's a time to do it, now's the time to do it.
Rob Manfred, you're an idiot. You're stupid. Okay? Rob Manfred, I don't like you, along with probably half of the world. Okay?
Accurate.
Said and done. I don't work for no ESPN major company. I can say that. Okay? Stephen A. Smith says that. He might get fined or fired, probably fired or something. I don't know. But I will say, I love seeing, dude, Greinke can rip. Bumgarner can rip. All right? If you look up Mets history highlights or even Bartolo Colon's home run shows up in almost baseball highlights across the board. Bartolo Colon, big sexy. He has a book coming out. I can't, okay? Bring Bartolo back. I guarantee you. I still watch that guy throw in his Instagram. I guarantee you, a bullpen guy, he can. Let me tell you something. I think he'll come into the league and still be pretty good. I still think he'll take you deep into a playoff. Okay.
Okay. Real quickly, we got to end it. Also, have you guys seen CeCe's body?
He's ripped.
CeCe.
He's
ripped.
I
gotta
get
my
he
hot
does
take.
it after his
I'm done. I'm gonna
career.
Go call A-Rod. Hopefully he buys the Mets.
All right. That was Nate. What is your hot take?
Jordan is the greatest player of all time. This documentary will properly cement it. This documentary cements his legacy as the greatest player of all time.
That's a good hot take. That's a good hot take.
Chris, mine is A-Rod. We got Nate's with Jordan. What's yours?
I said it.
Which was what? Sorry.
Bring Bartolo back.
I think everyone wants that, not gonna lie.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Who doesn't want Bartolo back in the freaking league? I don't think he's played for the Red Sox, but has there been a major league team he hasn't played for?
Well, obviously, yes.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, yeah, it's not maybe I phrased that wrong. But he's playing a lot of teams though.
How mad would you be if he came back and played for the Astros?
Okay, he can't play for the Astros.
Would you rather have played for the Astros or Boston?
The Astros.
Okay.
Astros. Yeah, 100%. Anyway, I can't think of a better hot take right now because I love Bartolo Colon. But that is all the time we have to debate sports. If you guys want to see us debate sports more, maybe get some other people on here.
Yeah, totally.
Let us know. Let us know in our Instagram. There was you saw there was a lot of topics that got us going that I would like to debate a little more amongst each other. Sometimes we just have the same opinion, so there's not much to argue.
Yeah.
Next time we'll get different opinions.
Next time, yeah, we can.
Yeah.
You guys can watch Chris and I go back and forth.
Kirby and I don't know why we haven't started our own podcast, our own thing with Kirby and I, but we can do it. That might be in the works. We'll talk about it. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with us. We go live every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Stay in touch with our Instagram to see what events we have coming up. We have the next couple of weeks planned out with some really cool things, with some fun people, some special guests here and there. So stay up to date with the Instagram. If there's anything you'd like to see us do, funny challenges, talk about different things or whatever, let us know in our comments on YouTube or DM us on Instagram. Also, quickly before we go, it's only May 12th, and I just had to double check if it was May or not. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So we know quarantine right now, it is not an easy transition for anyone in any situation. But if you ever feel yourself struggling mentally, if you ever just lost, or you feel like no one cares about you, if you contemplated suicide, or if you're anywhere, depression, anxiety, anything mentally, please, I mean this 110%, reach out to us. Hit us up on the Instagram. We would love to talk you through things. We would love to see where your mind's at and just help you out. So I don't know. She came down playing music. It was like a spiritual music coming in. It was just like Holy Spirit, just like perfect moment. Anyway, like I keep saying, tune into us, our Instagram, see what's going on. Kirby, thank you for coming on from OKC, even though you're NYC for life. That's where your heart
Miss you,
is.
Curb.
You guys.
Miss you, dude. Yeah, so that's it, and we'll see you guys next week. Later.
Love you guys.
Deuces.
Yankees are better than Mets.